Welcome back to the North Star Takes podcast with Bailey Pulicki and Jacob Liberta. You can find all our videos here on our channel, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram as well. Today we're going to be reacting to all the Vikings roster moves they've made as of late.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's just been a crazy week. They cut Amir Abdullah, Dakota Dozier finally, which is amazing news.
It's about time.
Everson Griffin they cut and brought back within a day. Same with Britton Colquitt, it's sounding like, and the long snapper DePaula. They cut Jake Browning, which was kind of interesting. I think people kind of figured that was going to happen at the end of this preseason. Mm-hmm. They're looking to bring him back for the practice squad. So what do you think they're going to do with their backup quarterback spot here? Cam Newton got cut by the Patriots. Our good friend Sean Mannion, they apparently have rumored interest in bringing him back to hold the clipboard. What are your thoughts on the backup QB position?
Boy, I'd love Cam Newton. I feel like that should be at the top of the list for who our backup quarterback should be this season. If he's interested in coming here. I know I've heard things about him still wanting to be a starter, and obviously he should, in my opinion, because I think he's not worse than 32 quarterbacks in this league. Yeah. So I think he probably should be a starter, but at this point in the season, as far as like getting familiar with the playbook, I feel like it's not realistic for him to expect to start somewhere, especially right away. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he could probably settle to be a backup, and that'd be really nice to have him around here just because, Kirk is at risk. It's well documented because of the COVID situation, but having Cam just in the locker room, I think he's a good team guy, and I think people respect him. So I think that should be priority one for us as far as who we should pursue for a backup quarterback. I could also probably be comfortable rolling with Mond. I'm still very high on Mond. Mm-hmm. I just don't know if he's ready to help us win games right now. So the thing is, like, if Kirk got hurt or if he's out for whatever reason, like, that could be kind of a backbreaker if we're just banking on Mond to come out and just be great right away. Mm-hmm. So that's still on the table. I mean, that's how the roster looks right now anyway. But and then outside of that, I don't love the other options that are basically available to us. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of scaring me a little bit, and you just got to hope that Kirk plays every game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd love to have Cam Newton, but I think I saw he's also unvaccinated, which is partially, I think, part of the reason the Patriots might have cut him. Mm-hmm. But so I just don't see the Vikings bringing in another unvaccinated quarterback just because of the whole issue that Zimmer had with his quarterbacks and how upset he was. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing they'll probably bring back Sean Mannion. He knows the system. He's Kirk's good buddy. Yeah. I think they'll bring him back, and hopefully, like you said, hopefully he doesn't have to play, and hopefully he's just there to kind of help Kirk out like he was the last two seasons, and maybe Kellen Mond can learn a thing or two from him. And it would be nice to see Kellen Mond at some point this season, but you definitely don't want to rush him into action.
You could ruin him.
You could absolutely ruin him, if it's just a disaster of a game. So I just don't think that's necessary. He's a long-term kind of a project quarterback, and the hope is that maybe next year he'll be your guy, but he's going to have some good development this year.
Exactly.
The other big story of this week is Irv Smith is most likely going to be out for the season after getting a full meniscus repair. So we traded a 4th-round pick to the Jets and got tight end Chris Herndon and a 6th-round pick in return. Herndon had a decent rookie season. He's kind of fallen off since then. He's only been in the league a couple of years. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this trade? Do you think he's got the potential to come in and actually make a difference for this team?
He's a name. I guess I don't know how to really put it at this point. I think I was kind of reading the reaction from a Jets fan standpoint because I was reading the Jets tweet, actually, all the replies to it when they said, we've traded Chris Herndon for a 4th-round pick. Yeah. And basically all these guys were like, look at Joe Douglas do his work again. This is great, basically shipping him out. So I'm like, that doesn't really give me a warm and fuzzy feeling for a replacement for Irv Smith. So that's a little alarming. But, I mean, that's also – he's coming from a Jets team that's been a disaster. Yeah. So you can't really take a whole lot away from it then. Mm-hmm. And he'll be coming into a much better situation here, obviously. And he's still a young player, so he still has room to grow and get better. So you never know. But I'm a little bit worried. Obviously, he's not going to be Irv, so it's going to be a step down from that. And just how quick can he get acclimated to this offense? I don't know. So let's hope he's a pretty smart player. And seems like a decent athlete, so, I mean, that helps too. But I just don't think we're going to get a lot of our tight end position this year anymore. So
yeah, I agree with you. I think they're going to treat Tyler Conklin as probably the number 1 tight end, which I guess makes sense because he's been here. He knows the offense. Mm-hmm.
And he was pretty good at the end of last year.
He was, yeah. I think he's definitely a tight end 2 in this league. I mean, he's kind of proven that. But Chris Herndon, if he has his head on straight, I think he could make an impact of some sort. I mean, if he's got the talent, he's got the best supporting cast for sure he'll ever have.
Absolutely.
Or he's ever had in his career.
Yeah.
best quarterback with Kirk, compared to like Sam Darnold throwing him the ball or Joe Flacco last year.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know. I think he could help a little bit, but I don't think it's fair to expect much from him.
No, and especially early on.
Yeah, and Zimmer made a comment about maybe having to use 3 wide receivers more often, which is what people have kind of been begging for anyways.
Yeah.
He went and signed D.D. Westbrook. KJ Osborne looks like he's made a leap. Amir Smith-Marsette looks like he's got some skill. One of these 3 guys should be able to step up and kind of carry that load.
Yes.
The other big news is Chad Beebe is going to be out for the year.
Good.
After getting foot surgery.
Yes.
So he won't be on the roster. They kept Dan Chisena, but then they moved him to IR. So he's out at least the first 3 weeks of the season. So keeping 5 receivers, does that surprise you?
Not really. I feel like these 5 that made the roster are pretty slam dunks. And let me clarify real quick with BB. I'm not happy he's injured. I'm just happy he's not on the team. Like, I'd rather be healthy and not on the team than hurt. But just clarifying real quick. But, I've heard in my previous Vikings videos and those takes, I'm not a Chad Beebe guy.
I'm not either.
So this is great that we rolled with these 5 guys. And I think Westbrook's getting pretty close to being back, like, basically where we can stick him in the offense and he can start playing like at least a decent amount. So I mean that's promising, and that's what we signed him in the first place for, is to be wide receiver 3. So I think that's good. And I saw he even, like, as a side note, he switched his number to 12 now that BB's out, and
all feels right with the world.
Yep, exactly. So I'm pretty excited to see what Westbrook can really do, because obviously we didn't see any of him in the preseason. So I mean, we never know. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think there's really too many other surprising cuts.
No.
They move in Wangu to the IR, so I'm guessing they'll bring back Amir Abdullah to be that 3rd string running back.
Exactly, because otherwise we only have 2 running backs on the roster right now.
Yeah. Linebackers, they have 7 right now. I'm not sure it'll stay like that.
There's no way that sticks.
I'm guessing they're going to kind of see what's happening with Anthony Barr's injury.
True.
If there's other linebackers they could maybe pick up on the waiver wire. And then the only other surprise really would be, I think, safety. They kept Josh Metellus over Miles Dorn.
Yeah.
And Dorn was running with the 2s the entire camp, so I'm not really sure what they determined there, other than Metellus was a draft pick and Dorn wasn't.
True. And then maybe Metellus, they liked his value more on special teams than Dorn's or something. Like, maybe Dorn fits better in the defense, but as far as what the backup safety is really going to do on this team, like they probably counted on Smith and Woods just to be healthy all year, like Harris and Smith were last year. So I think maybe it just had more about Metellus and playing on special teams. Yeah,
I would agree with you. So I think really the only position to really keep an eye on here is backup quarterback, and then maybe if they can find a linebacker, depending on how serious Barr's injury is.
Yeah.
They haven't put him on IR yet, so they must be thinking he's going to be able to play within the first 3 weeks of the season.
That's promising.
And same thing with Christian Darrisaw. So I saw a tweet today, I think it was from Courtney Cronin. I could be wrong.
Sure.
That said she thinks Darrisaw, or she heard from a source that Darrisaw is apparently close to coming back to practice.
Sweet.
So that's huge. I mean, he's obviously not going to start week 1, but if they can get him a few weeks of practice and he can be ready to go by maybe week 4 or 5, that would be massive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to get him back as soon as possible, because obviously Rashad Hill isn't a long-term answer, but he can fill in for a few games. But any more than that, it could get a little dicey. So that'd be nice to get Darrisaw back sooner rather than later. And, because obviously there's going to be a learning curve just when he starts playing. So, I mean, we're not even at that point where he's practicing with the team. So, like, kind of got to build our way up to it. So then by the end of the season, when we're hopefully making a stretch run for the playoffs, then he's really full go. He's playing well, or at least, competently, I guess I would say, especially as a rookie in the NFL. So
yeah, I'd agree with you there. So, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on, and week 1's on the horizon, so we'll have to see how it's looking then. But that's going to do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't, and hit that subscribe button as well. Tell all your sports-loving friends about us. We've appreciated all the support we've gotten so far. Give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter, and thanks for watching.